Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti. We are currently exploring the scripture Mysticism of Mahabharata. Commentaries by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So, in today's Satsang, we will continue the story of Eklavya, the disciple who practiced a lot of archery but without formal training by his guru Dronacharya. So every day Eklavya meditated and practiced archery in front of the statue with great devotion until in the course of time he had developed skills that even Arjuna did not have. So through worship of his guru Dronacharya, who did not want to guide him in physical form, he just made a statue and learned so much from that. One day Dronacharya was passing through the forest with the Pandavas, and the dog that was accompanying them ran ahead barking loudly. Then suddenly the barking stopped, and the dog reappeared with his mouth held open by arrows that had been so skillfully discharged that they kept him quiet without hurting his mouth at all. Seeing this, Dronacharya was amazed, and he and the young princes began to look for the archer who was skilled enough to accomplish this incredible feat. When they found Eklavya standing nearby with his bow and arrow, Eklavya fell at the feet of Dronacharya, saying, "You are my guru. It is by your inspiration that I have learned this art before a mere statue of you. What fee should I give you in gratitude for your teachings?" So there is a parampara or a tradition in the Sanatana Dharma process. It's called the Guru Shishya Parampara, the student teacher relationship, in which after the studies are over, the student gives dakshina or a fee to his teacher for all the services that were provided in shaping the student. So seeing this, Dronacharya was amazed, and the young princes began to look. So Eklavya, as soon as he saw that Dronacharya was coming, he showed his statue and said, "You are my guru. It is by your inspiration that I have learned this art before a mere statue of you, O Master. What fee should I give you in gratitude for your teaching?" So he felt very humbled and thankful. Dronacharya was pleased with the boy's devotion and attainment, but at the same time he did not want to see anyone excel Arjuna as the greatest archer of his time. So this is going to be very confusing. We have to first read it with an open mind and see Swamiji's interpretation before we can fully digest this, because this episode confuses a lot of people and they sometimes misinterpret. They take it as a historical fact and they misinterpret the real meaning. So here what happened is, he did not want to see anyone excel Arjuna, the greatest archer of his time. Therefore he told Eklavya, "Cut off your right thumb and give that to me as a gift." Why? Because you used me as you thought of me as your guru, and now whatever I ask you is the fee, and I'm asking the fee of your thumb, which meaning he knew that once his thumb is gone, he cannot be an effective archer. So out of deep respect for his guru, Eklavya did not argue. He immediately did what Dronacharya had asked him to do. As a result of losing his thumb, Eklavya's skill as an archer was greatly reduced, but he still continued his practice and became a great warrior. Now, the behavior of Guru Dronacharya in this incident seems, as we have discussed, seems strange to most readers of the Mahabharata, yet it can be understood if viewed from a open mind and a broader perspective. Think of the big picture. The strong interest that Dronacharya took in Arjuna throughout his life was of immense importance in the divine plan. In this plan, Arjuna, backed up by the grace of divine Krishna, would one day lead the Pandavas to the victory in the Mahabharata war. In order to do so, he had to possess great military skill and confidence. On the other hand, the skill that Eklavya had acquired would not have been used for the good of humanity. He belonged to a low tribe and he would have used all his skills mainly in hunting, etc. So that skill served only egoistic purposes, Eklavya's skills, and therefore there was no higher reason for him to possess it. He had the skill, but it was not being put to good use, or it would have further diminished. Although Dronacharya was not aware of all this on a conscious level, his unconscious mind had been influenced by Krishna in a subtle manner, as we also see that. We will see that in many instances where Lord Krishna also seems to be playing these divine plans for them to fructify. So therefore his attachment to Arjuna made Dronacharya an excellent instrument of divine will at the time. So the divine will did not want Eklavya to succeed for his small gains of skill. It is important to note that in ancient times, weapons similar to atomic and hydrogen bombs were discharged by the psychic powers of individuals. They had this level of purity where they could create all these things. Imagine this word Dronacharya, and today we use the word drone. Drones. Everywhere you see drones flying and stuff that do all kinds of things. So and the atom bomb, the bombs. So all these things were there through the mental ability of these sages and saints who had decoded these mysteries, and then they were lost again with time, and now again science is reinventing many of those things. So one day Eklavya, with his demoniac mentality, would have become himself a terrible arsenal, having at his disposal tremendous powers that would have been utilized for evil ends. So think of a bomb that is used for bad or evil purposes. So that was more or less the role of Eklavya also, since he was on the side of the unethical people. In his divine plan, Krishna diminished that power by urging Dronacharya to ask for his thumb. And then later Krishna destroyed Eklavya in a battle, thus saving the earth from a disaster which could have been caused by the misuse of his mantra-empowered weapons. So therefore, sometimes for the righteousness to prevail, some sacrifices of evil people are also required. Regardless of his reasons for pursuing archery, with such perseverance, Eklavya did prove without a shadow of doubt that intense devotion works miracles. So he set an example that if you are sincere and have faith, you can really excel everybody else. And like Eklavya, any human being can advance towards any goal that is important to them if they are backed up with intense devotion, dedication, and one-pointed self-effort, giving us hope that any path that we are taking towards self-realization, if we follow this with dedication and faith, is going to happen for sure. So now we will study the next episode in tomorrow's satsang, the archery contest, and we will pick it up tomorrow. This is Swami Nikhilanand. Om Tat Sat.